Hello and welcome to Impact Podcast. As you know, it's your host here, Christian, along with my co-host Darren. And on this week of the Impact Podcast, Amani is gonna sit this week out. We're gonna have her in for next week because this is a special episode. So we're talking about the brothers. We're talking about
Yeah.
some stuff that us as men go through. Not saying that nobody can have no input on it, but it's certain things we go through that some people won't understand. And I want to really incorporate through this episode all the young guys that's out here that are struggling or maybe not struggling, maybe you're almost to the point, but you need some more brothers around you to really push you forward and give you some advice and just, talk, maybe just say some things that we might relate to. So that's what this episode is really going to be about. Um, we're in this Black History Month too, as well. We're two African American men. It's different struggles that African American men go through, and then on top of that, we're Christians too. So like it's things that young Christian guys go through, and that we're faced with every day. So this is a topic that I'm pretty excited to talk about and everything like that. So Darren, you would have anything to add?
Nah, I'm ready to dig in.
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, I just want to talk about this first, like.
Okay.
Just like growing up, like growing up in America. I'm not sure how long you live in Georgia? Like
I
basically,
was 9 when we moved here.
yeah, 9. So like, man, so you basically spent all your teen years and your
I
adulthood
say
in Georgia, right?
I say I grew up here, man, because if you think about it, everything I really learned in life has been down here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's to the point now where if I went up there, all I would have is like family. It's not like I got friends really. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Yeah.
I
So
would say
so
I'm from here, but people be trying to.
yeah,
But yeah,
man.
go on with what you saying though.
Yeah. So like me being born here, but I'm not sure if it was different from where you was from.
Uh,
But like I'm not sure if it's much you would have known at 9 as far as the struggles of what um men go through as far as with all these the stuff you face because it's a certain phase in life. I think it probably really hits when you start getting to high school, man. Start getting to high
yeah,
school and then some people they start going through some stuff as far as mental health. People go through things as far as like you're trying to figure out who you are, as a
yeah, all
man.
of that stuff,
Because
man.
because the thing about it, people always tell you what a man should be and what a man should do, and you're really trying to figure out because in the point, I think from the point that it's like you get to be 16 to like what 16 to 30, 16 to 35. That's your whole segment of everybody's trying to build you to be the person that they want you to be. But if you get
Hmm.
what I'm saying, like, but you're trying to figure out who you're trying to be, and like, you're trying to please people, but at the same time, trying to figure out your way in life, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Nah,
So,
I know exactly what you mean.
yeah, so I'm saying through that time, is it like a story you can give us of like like something you went through that most guys probably go through, or even some people that you can kind of relate to the audience?
Yeah, like in high school, it's so much, but I guess for the main part, like to be honest, it's like you said, like you trying to really kind of find your identity in a way.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna be honest, man, when I was in high school, like I don't know, man, I was trying to kind of find my group. You know how everybody had their little group because I didn't
Hmm.
play sports. I didn't, I wasn't like the honor roll group. Even they got their own group, not even like nerds, but
Hmm.
just like the
Yeah,
people that's
like
in all
yeah.
honors. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I couldn't even fit in with the nerds, bro. Like I was literally like a lone wolf almost. I had friends, but like
It
we
wasn't
was
like,
all.
yeah, it wasn't like you
It
was
wasn't like
popular
that
or.
typical, yeah. Not saying like we was like on the other end either, but it's kind of like
Hmm.
we was in the middle. It's kind of like we each had our own little associates from each little group, but we didn't
Hmm.
really have that, you know. But it came up to a point where you start to find yourself in like not so good situations trying to kind of find your way and fit into certain groups and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was the main thing that I kind of struggled with as far as like growing up. But um yeah, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I think that's the main thing, like sticking to what you like and not worrying about if what you like is gonna fit to the majority group or whatever the case is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I 100% agree because I would say that even though like me, um, as a lot of people know, uh, I wasn't homeschooled per se, where it's like, okay, my mom made my curriculum. It was an online public school, but so I didn't
Uh,
really face that many things in school as far as like the groups and all the type of stuff.
oh yeah, so
So
yeah, yeah,
that part really came later in life, like when I started going to college and everything like that, I started to experience more stuff like that. But by then I was already basically sound on who I was. So it was
exactly.
a different type of thing. Like I had friends like growing up, a lot of people think that, I was just all by myself. I had no friends growing up, stuff like I was just at home. Nah, but like I really hung out with people in the neighborhood and stuff like that. I had a lot of
Yeah,
friends
like
growing up.
outside and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I'm not sure about this generation now. I'm pretty sure about it, but people don't ride bikes like we used to back in the day. Like it
For
used to be
real,
like
bro.
a time set. It was like after school, after we done our homework, we outside with the whole neighborhood.
I'm
And
surprised
then
y'all used to do that though.
yeah,
Hey,
man, I
younger
think
generation, like for
I
real.
was the last generation, man. I was the last generation,
Yeah.
2004. After 2005, it all fell off, man. After
Yeah.
2005, but we used to ride bikes and everything, man. So um it wasn't really, I feel like in my environment, I didn't really face the same things that you may have faced in high school, as far as the in school with finding your identity. But because of that, like you still, like me personally, I still did struggle with that personally, because
Yeah.
I think that that's just a thing as a man when you're growing up.
Uh-huh.
I don't care if people are influencing you or if you are all alone, because I'm pretty sure there's people out here where you might not have that many friends, you might not have a social group, or you may not be the popular person, or you might be the popular person, and you're still like, that's another thing. Like, let's say you're popular, and then everybody thinks of you to be this great thing, but you really don't want to be that. You're just like, let's say you're good at football, but you really don't like all the hype, you don't like all this type of stuff, and
Yeah.
people are trying to paint you to be this person, and you got this big mantle on you, and you gotta, you know, if you don't do what people say, you're gonna be like a letdown. You get what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
feel like that's another thing as a man too. Like a lot of times people put the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you're like, hey, like I'm just trying to make it in life with what I'm trying to do. Like my dream may not be like, some people's parents got a big dream for them and they don't want to do that. And then if
Oh
they
yeah.
don't do that, they get exiled. I've seen people, I've had friends where they did something different from what their parents wanted. Like their parents might want to be a surgeon or whatever, and they went to
Hmm.
school for the exact opposite things, just so they can like say, nah, I didn't want to do what my parents said. You know what I'm saying? Because they wanted to
Yeah,
feel
but yeah.
independent.
But that's kind of part of being a man, like you being able to make those decisions because I mean it's different stages in life as far as quote unquote being a man, first of all. Because being
Hmm.
a man, like for example, a single man, is something kind of completely different from being a man who has a family. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I mean,
Yeah.
there's basic qualities, of course, but then there's more added on once you start putting in a wife and kids and all that type stuff.
And
So
and
number,
there's so many
you said what?
steps to get there too.
Yeah,
So,
but I've
but what we're
learned
saying.
so far, and like I said, I'm like in the middle, bro. I'm only
Hmm.
30 right now, so you like at the beginning, I'm like in the middle, and then we
Hmm.
would need somebody who like in their 40s could be like, almost
Yeah.
kind of complete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
So they
from
can
what I'm
tell us, okay,
learning,
I see where you're at.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm in the middle part of the journey. You feel
Hmm.
me?
Hmm.
Almost at the beginning, almost, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
still
Because
that segment of time.
yeah,
It's like from 20 to 35 to 40, you know what I'm saying?
exactly. From like 25 to 35 is like its own little. It's still somewhat the beginning in a way.
Yeah.
Not saying that you will be like completely just careless and immature, but you still
Hmm.
learning like a lot. Like right now,
Yeah.
bro, as far as like being a real man, what a man is, I'm really like just started really like okay, it's one thing for like people to tell you, But it's another thing when you finally get deep in it and then you like, oh, this
This
is
is
what
what it
this
really
is.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Like you
Yeah.
can't be slack. Like that whole thing you said about the world being on your shoulders, bro. And
Hmm.
that's why I wish we had an old man on here. I don't know if that ever goes away because right
Yeah.
now I feel that for sure. Like when you got a household, it's like everything is on you. Even with the Bible, bro, like you and you know, y'all know what I mean out there when I say this, but as far as like the man being that, leader of the household, it's not like a sense of being a having a power trip or nothing like that, but it's just the how can I put it? It's like God is putting that responsibility on you. So
Yeah.
whatever goes wrong, it's
It's on
kind of
you.
your fault.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro. It's kind of like actually it is your fault.
It is
Unless
because,
you yeah,
and
unless
let's
they
say went out
deliberately
and like,
just
yeah, but
like
still
just
like,
disobeyed you completely, like, and you had no control over it. That's different,
yeah, yeah. I feel like, look, like let's even take it back to Adam and Eve.
Yeah,
It was somewhat his fault, but like let's say that Eve ate the apple or whatever, and then Adam didn't eat it. I think Adam would have still somewhat been at fault,
yeah,
but it would not have been as bad. You know what I'm saying? So like the whole world would not have been doomed. I think that he would have just like started over or something like that, or just it would have been a lesson or something. But it really like what you're saying, it all falls on you as a man because that's like your role. Like you're supposed to like it's in our DNA to want to provide. It's in our DNA to want
yeah,
to like, do things and achieve great things in life and stuff like that. So like I 100% get what you're saying. And even like what we was talking about with the whole figuring out process, I know that you're a married man. And like me, I'm still like pursuing. I've been in relationships before. I've pursued relationships. Had the whole high school relationship thing, whatever,
yeah.
whatever, and
It's
it's
a
all
joke, bro.
baloney.
Trust me.
It's
It's a
all a joke,
joke,
man.
dog.
I could tell y'all
Trust
right
me,
now for
bro.
all the guys out there, just any advice I would give to you. I'll let Darren say some advice next. Like brothers, if you're out here pursuing a relationship, just if you as somebody that's in his like I'm 21. So as somebody that's 21, I've dated people. I didn't date too young. Like some people, they got like mad experience. Like they've been dating since they 14. Like I ain't have I ain't have no relationship at
Yeah,
no 14, or I think the earliest I started like talking to people was probably about 17 or something like that.
yeah,
And I went out for the first time like I was like 17 and a half or something like that. I went on my first date or whatever. So like, but it's all like when you look as a brother, as a dude, don't prioritize a relationship right now. Right now, if it comes, okay, that if it's from God,
yeah,
okay, that's good. But as for right now, if you are 16 to I'm not even going to be like extreme. If you are 16 to 20 or even 21 where I'm at right now, your number one priority should be graduating high school. If you
exactly.
if you are on the bottom side, if you're on 16 to 18, your priority should be graduating high school and actually doing well, not like get doing your best in school, keeping yourself focused and finding whatever you want to do as far as long term. When you get into be like 20s, 21, it should be you in college and stuff like that. Like me,
Yeah,
I graduated college already. So you should be college and figuring out what you're gonna do after college because, you know, if you're too caught up into like relationships, you don't have time to really think because it's so time consuming and everything like that. I'm not sure if like, Darren knows about this. He's been in
yeah,
relationships before, but it's so time consuming and it demands so much money, even money financially and everything like that. I'm telling you how much money goes into this. I'm telling y'all. And you'll look back. I'm not sure if it's just me. I'm bet it's some people out here watching this podcast. After you were done with the relationship, you was like, I'm so happy it's done, but like I spent so much money and lost so much money after this over somebody that I was not really clicking with. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm telling y'all right now is make sure if you're going to pursue like relationships and stuff like that, that you're not so locked in to the point where you get away from your grind and whatever you're doing. And ultimately, your walk with Christ, because a lot of people walk away from God when they pursue these relationships.
Yeah, man. And when you young, you think that it's such the end of the world. Like when you lose a girl or whatever, or a boy or whatever. Like man, like okay. First off, let's put it like this. He was right when he said you should be getting your education and all this type stuff, figuring out yourself. And I don't mean that in the typical way that everybody say it, but what I mean is like getting out there, really thinking about what you want to do with your life, man. That should be
Hmm.
your number one priority on the natural level. You know what I'm saying? But people used to tell me, man, because I was the type like when I was, coming up, I couldn't wait to like have a family, get married,
Hmm.
that type of stuff. But older people would tell you like, bro, trust me. Like
You'd be like, you just
yeah,
wait.
they'd be like, bro, just trust me, dog. Just go, enjoy yourself while you're young. Not like going
Mhm.
out just having like that, but enjoy
Yeah.
yourself as far as like,
Having that peace, like
bro,
where you can go into
yeah,
your room and be alone and be like, I can
bro,
breathe.
when you get married, you can't do what you want to do no more, bro. And that can be it's a good thing for me, but for some people, they might not say it's a good thing. But like, I can't just drop everything and just fly to Hawaii, bro, and just, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't
Like,
like you can't just go out there and buy a car or just like go out
exactly,
there
man.
and like make a purchase just because.
I can't even just quit a job because I don't like it, bro. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Or nothing like that. You gotta always think in mind that you got a family, bro, and you got a
Hmm.
house. So it don't matter how bad you having it at work. You literally have to like hold on to it until something better comes. But the whole point I was making is as far as the relationship thing goes, man. These high school relationships and all that, it's a joke, man. Trust me. All that lovey-dovey, buying each other teddy bears and all that stuff. Like, if you think it's the end of the world, bro, I always tell people this when you get married, bro, and it come time to when them bills start rolling in, when that debt start rolling in, bro, when them kids start coming in, all that, like, don't get me wrong, marriage is wonderful, it's beautiful, but this is the real world, bro.
Like it's no
So all
longer
of that
playing house.
yes. All that stuff you thought that you was stressing over in high school with your little girlfriend is nothing compared to what you will go through in marriage. So, long story short, I look back on what I thought was the end of the world, and it's a joke to me now, man.
I'm
So,
telling
as
you.
you become a man, it's like you look back and you say, dang, man, I thought I had it bad then. But as you get older, you like, that ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I'd just like to take this time too, like we was talking about with all the relationships. It's not just high school and college too. So many people nowadays, I just want to, this is for all the men and the women out there.
Hmm.
Y'all got to be more strong-minded when it comes down to these people. And like you were saying, you can't act like it's the end of the world because a lot of times people play games now. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if it's just now, but it's probably been for a minute now, even when my parents was my age, where they manipulate people. There's so many manipulators out there just to get some clout or money or whatever it might be. Y'all gotta stay focused, and y'all. That's why you really gotta have God, like a godly mind, and you really gotta have God in you too, because these people out here manipulating you, from a man's standpoint, they think that they can just go out here and I'm not gonna out this person, but I'm just gonna say this concept. Okay, somebody that I saw, not saw, but like I heard this online. They was like, look, the best people to get, the best women to get is someone that's in a relationship because most of the time the person that they're in a relationship they're not happy because they're not doing them right. I'm like I said this. I said if you can take her from someone else can take her from you. You get what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
If she's gonna be in a relationship and you feel like she's easy to take from somebody else, it's always gonna be somebody better. So when y'all are here in these relationships and stuff like that, and y'all manipulating people, doing all this type of stuff, that's not a right mindset to have. especially as a Christian or a generally good person. That's not what you try to do. You don't go and do all type of stuff. So it if somebody has done this to you, I'm pretty sure that some people have experienced being manipulated and all this type of stuff. It's not the end of the world. God was protecting you. He was when you dodged a bullet. You better be glad that you dodged a bullet now, so later on you don't have to dodge that type of bullet. So, it's
Yeah.
just crazy, man. All these relationships. It's just I don't know. Y'all enjoy being like I would say in order to pursue something, you have to be content with who you are first, to be
Hmm.
honest. So yeah, so
See, because we had talked about before, like, me and you had watched certain videos on YouTube where it's like dudes are like just sell everything, bro, and just go to work and stack all their bread and just
exactly,
live
man.
out of their van or
Hmm.
whatever the case is. But like you can't do stuff like that when you get married, man. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
so while you're young, if you want to go over across the country and go to college and stay in the dorm or whatever, man, like enjoy those times, get that experience. I'm not saying go out there and wild out, but whatever those investments is and stuff like that, you can't just jump and you got a bigger risk involved as you enter in, a family. But when you're young, like when you like 21 and you got a certain amount of extra money, you can afford to invest that, you know what I mean? Without thinking
yeah,
like, man, if I lose all this, it's gonna kind of bring some issues in my home or something like that. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, for
So
real.
it's little stuff like that, man.
Yeah, that's some good advice, man. Y'all, anybody watching this, make sure you take some of that advice, because um don't rush life. Like, don't rush trying to
Exactly.
be don't rush trying to get to that end goal. Enjoy the process, because if you get there super quick, it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be like fast food life, where you rush it over and now it's not a steak. You get some fast food out of life, and then now you're not happy. So just make sure y'all take y'all's time and everything that.
But let me say one
And
more thing too, bro. This next 10 years is gonna fly by, dog. When the Bible say life is short, man, did the Bible say that? Lord
yeah,
forgive
life
me.
is short and full of
Okay.
misery.
Okay, yeah, I'm tripping. I'm about to say I'm on here lying on God, man. Lord forgive me. But yeah,
Nah,
life is short for real though, bro. When you think about it, man, think how fast the last 10 years went by.
facts, bro.
So, point being, like you said, take your time, bro, because you're gonna get older quick and it's gonna fly and you're gonna look back and you don't want to have no regrets, man. So, you know, from on a moral compass, do go out there and enjoy yourself in a good way.
Hmm. Yeah, for real. And now moving on, I would say that it's kind of can flow into our next part. And we talked about some of the struggles that as far as relationships, people rushing life, investing your money pretty well young and not getting too caught up into the stuff that's not gonna last. Now we can talk about something that can last. What's some advice that you think that we could give some brothers out here that's struggling in their faith, struggling to believe, they're struggling with some type of mental illness or something, where they're just second guessing themselves and they don't know what to believe in.
You mean like say like a teenager coming up that's kind of confused, you mean?
Anybody, man. I think
Well,
people from all ages have issues as far as like with their faith and
yeah.
like just mental health and everything. As men, it's a big thing. Is any advice you could give to them?
Yeah, because I'll just go off my personal, like, as a teenager, I went through this whole thing of like feeling alone and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I just always thought, man, how can I put it? I just always kind of knew there was more to life. You feel me? I've
Hmm.
always believed in God. You know what I'm saying? I've always
Hmm.
loved Jesus, but I didn't quite serve him correctly. So I always had that in the back of my mind. Like I just had that feeling in me, bro, from young, like, yo, this can't be it. Like I love God. I love Jesus, but it's gotta be something else to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you like when you really do focus on God, and I'm not being cliche because this is a Christian podcast or none of that, but when you really focus on God, right, you'll be surprised who He'll send your way and things like that. Because, like I said, I went through like a little bit of a depression through high school, and
Hmm.
in my younger years, even like, fresh out of high school or whatever. And I kind of, when I ended up joining the church I'm at, that we at right now, and I started to really learn and be surrounded by those people in the church. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Now I look back and honestly, bro, I forgot that I did have a depression. Like I forgot. Like it's been sometimes God will take you out of something and you won't even realize it, bro. But the whole point is, man, if you kind of stick it out, man, I know that sounds like very broad. You know what I mean? Advice, but I would say really like stick it out, man, and just know that it could always be worse and it's not really as bad as you think it is. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you get into a certain mode of depression, and I'll say this again, I've never missed a meal, bro. I grew up middle class. I wasn't in poverty. I had a loving family. So why in the world am I feeling lonely and depressed? You feel me? It's
Yeah.
spiritual, bro.
It is,
But if
man.
you let the
Spiritual warfare.
enemy, yeah, if you let him beat down on your mind, you'll believe that you're by yourself and all that stuff. So the point is, I stuck it out, even though it was hard. I will say that. But once I started really going to church, over time it went away so vaguely that I completely even didn't even realize, like, wow, I don't feel that way no more. You feel me? So
Yeah. That's good. That's
being
some
in
good
a good
advice.
church really does play a huge role, man, for real.
It
For
does. It
real.
100% does. And that's why even as men, I would say some advice I would give is and kind of like what you said,
Hmm.
you just gotta stick it out. And I like the point that you brought up as far as having a good church because a lot of times when I'm not sure if it's just me, but when me as a man, I get to a point where I'm like sad or I'm feeling start depressed
Yeah.
or something like that, I try to isolate and
Oh
get
yeah.
away from people.
For
And I don't
sure.
want to be seen. I don't want to be going nowhere. I just, as soon as I'm off work, go straight up to my room, just whatever. And I don't think that's what we should do. Men close off from everybody, close off from the world. We need to find a good community, find a good church. And because God is really the one that really uplifts our spirit, because this is a spiritual battle. A lot of times people just think depression's just some type of chemical. They try to say, oh, some people are depressed because
Yeah.
they're eating certain type of foods, or it's because you're not working out enough, or it's because your environment. They'll blame
Yeah.
it on everything, but forget to say that it's a spiritual warfare and the spirits out here that's attacking us. So I just say to any brother, sister, anybody, if you're going through a dark time, just don't isolate. Don't
Hmm.
get to a point where you're all by yourself. Don't quit. I know it might be tough, and people don't let nobody tell you that they know what you're going through. Like if they know what you're going through, okay, they know if you're willing to accept that. But a lot of times, I've said this in the past, people don't know what you're going through because people feel things. They could go through the same exact situation, but feel it in two different ways. Like somebody can go through a form of depression and it leads them to anger, and somebody else
Hmm.
can go through the same exact thing and it leads them to just like all out just a dark path, crying and all this type of things, where those are two different reactions to it, but they can't really relate because they react two different ways because they're two different people. So no one can understand what you're going through, but what I can tell you is that's why you have to, sometimes as a man it's hard. You just got to cry sometimes. Not saying just
Yeah.
go out everywhere and cry and show that you're weak or whatever like that. I'm not saying that. Like, don't just be a crying man. But sometimes when
Like
you're by
always
yourself,
crying about something. Like, but
yeah, don't be
yeah, I
a
know what you
crying
mean.
man. But like sometimes you just like if you're in your room, don't just bottle up, let it go. Because in the book of Psalms, it says, "They that sow in tears shall reap in joy." So God,
Hmm.
He sees you in these times, and He doesn't want to see you sad. isn't God hasn't forgotten about you. If you're depressed or whatever you're going through, if you feel like you made a mistake and you just can't come back from it, you can come back from it. Maybe you might have to go through some things because of the things that you did, but that doesn't make you somebody that can't come back. You might have to, you reap what you sow. So like you might have to reap some things off of the
Yeah,
actions, but don't defeat yourself and condemn yourself because God can still use you in some type of way. So don't feel depressed and like you have to give up and ultimately just do something that you'll regret later because you think that as a man that you've just completely failed. You can always get back up to some extent. So just y'all keep on pushing through life and everybody's been through a dark time. Some people's dark time has been darker than others. Some people um they go through things differently. Like I just said again, just make sure y'all push through and seek God through this process, read his word and pray. And yeah, and through these times, you can really figure out who you are. Some after some of the darkest times of my life, that's where I figured out what I was gonna do, or that's where some of my greatest times, as far as like some people journal. That's when some of your greatest writings came out. So y'all just keep
yeah.
pushing.
And another thing I want to say, man, when you get going through a depression, man, please stop getting in relationships because you
Oh
get
yeah.
to a point where you think that this relationship is going to make you happy and all that. And then you get to a point where when you lose the other person, because you will lose them most of the time, that now it's even worse, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Now you grieving that you lost this person that you thought was going to get you out of this depression, and you already battling those demons that you were before. So it's like, dude, that stuff right there leads to, you know, other stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
as far as like, wanting to lose your
People
life and all
harming
that type of
themselves and
stuff.
stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
So man,
and
please leave them relationships alone, man.
yeah, and to be honest, like you're saying, like leaving relationships alone. Relationships are good to a certain extent, but that's only if
Yeah,
it's healthy. A lot of times when people are going through depression, they're looking for something to help make them feel good. So they look to
exactly.
relationships. They look to relationships. They look to drugs. They look to all these things that's going to be a quick fix to make them feel better. But then when the thing don't make them feel good anymore, and like let's say that even this was a good person you're in a relationship with, but you're toxic, then she leaves you because you're toxic and you're not ready to be in a relationship, then you're broke. Or if you're addicted to some type of substance or whatever, and that substance goes away, that supplier leaves, or you try to withdraw from it, then all of a sudden you're spiraling out of control and you are depressed. It leads you to the point where you're trying to harm yourself or something like that. You just got to really, 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 really just be careful when you're looking for an out to sadness or some type of depression because it's easier said than done when you're going through it. It's easier for us to be on here talking about
Yeah,
it.
it is.
It's easy for us to do all this and stuff, but I just want to tell y'all that even though we're talking about it, we might not be able to be in your situation. Just hold on. That's all I can say. Just
But
hold
I
on.
but I will say I did go through it though.
Hmm.
So I can say that now it is nothing but the grace of God. You feel me? And I'm not
Hmm.
putting myself up to be big or nothing like that. But the fact that I did get out of it is nothing but the grace of God. Because I've said it before, like I wanted to like leave this world at one point, but I never would do it because I know the consequences of that, and it's
Hmm.
much worse. That's another thing, and I'm gonna be real. I gotta say it, man.
Hmm.
Don't think that that's gonna end the problem, bro. Because if you do that, it's gonna be much worse. Trust me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Trust me, it's gonna be much worse, bro. And it's gonna be for an eternity. It ain't gonna get turned off. So that kept me from like, nah, bro. I'm good,
Yeah.
dog. I'm gonna hold this out like this. I'm gonna go through this because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're
Well, it's
saying.
not funny, but let's just
Hmm.
be honest, man. That's the way it
Yeah,
is, man.
it is, man. I'm like, people, they don't, you gotta believe. That's what I'm saying. Y'all gotta believe.
Mhm.
And one, you gotta believe in God. Number one, you gotta believe in God, have faith. Number two, you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe that whatever this thing is, that you're addicted to, whatever this thing that has you down, whatever thing that has some depression ain't the only thing that people are going through. It's big because in men don't talk about depression.
Yeah.
That's the biggest reason why so many men are depressed because they don't talk about depression. Black men go through depression. Men of all colors, races, and anything goes through depression. Men are insecure. Men, um, we go through a lot of things as far as just trying to what is it called? Validation. People
Yeah.
think the validation is only for women. Men go through they want to be like they want to be seen as valid to other people too. But y'all got to realize that all this just leads back to what Pastor was teaching a couple months ago. The inferiority complex. And that's
Hmm.
basically where you become jealous of someone else because you feel inferior to them. Where we're not built to compare us. Like I'm not, as a man, I shouldn't compare myself to Darren. He's a different person. If he did something in life that was big, I should not feel jealous of him because he did that thing. I should be happy for him. But at the same time, if I did something that he wanted to do, he shouldn't feel jealous towards me because we all have our gifts and talents and stuff like that. And I think
Yeah.
as men, we need to do better as far as supporting each other and not just feeling like certain type of way. Because I'm not for sure if it's just me, but it's hard to get a brother to support you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I have all these people around me, and my biggest supporter are always the women. I can always get them to share my stuff. I can always get them to support me
Yeah.
and give money to my stuff when I was in school and I had all this stuff for sports and I wanted somebody to give to like the cookies and stuff like that and like the stuff you would sell is always the women that would give to that. Never could find another brother to support you. So I think as brothers we should support each other more. We should like share people's posts. We should endorse each other more and just like because that can lead to less jealousy amongst men. So many men are
Hmm.
jealous of each other. So I feel like that's something that we should do more.
Yeah, man. Cause um, I don't know. I think men kind of. I think a woman always has that mother in them. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? To where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I like this person, so I'm gonna. They might not be, nurturing you like your mother for real, but that could be a form of nurturing. Like, okay, oh, he needs, a donation, so I'm gonna
Hmm.
support him. But a man is kind of like, yeah, well,
You
man
make it
up,
on your own.
get it how you know what I'm saying? Yeah, go and out there and get it if you need it, man. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you, bro. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
So
and
I don't
that's
know.
one thing that I'm like I have programmed in my mind as a man too, where it's like somebody send me some type of donation thing, like please like and share, do this and that other. And I'll be like,
Like, you
bro, what
better
you
go to
asking me
work,
for,
bro.
man? Like go to
Like, you better
work.
go to work.
Like exactly, go find somebody else. But I don't think that's a good mentality because if we want um if we want other people to do well, especially as men, we want us to do well, Christian brothers, we need to support each other. We see one of our brothers in Christ trying to get a podcast going, get his cooking show going, or trying to pursue a career in anything. It doesn't matter. It could be big or small. We need to support them more.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you gotta nurture them, do all that type of stuff. Nah, that's not what I'm saying, y'all. I'm just saying like it doesn't hurt to share somebody's post. It doesn't hurt
Uh-huh.
to give $5, $10 if you have it. You don't have to make them work super hard to do that because we serve a God that was a giver. God gave to
Mhm.
us. So what if God was like, okay, look, he wanted to be healed. Nah, I got 8 billion people in this earth. Why should I help you? Nah, you get on somewhere and do something else. So like I'm
Yeah,
glad we don't
man.
serve a God with that type of
I
mentality. So we
don't
just
think
gotta
I
have
never
that.
thought of it like that, but you're right though, man.
Yeah, think about it, guys. Like, bruh, I got 8 billion people and I got at least 16 billion prayer requests at every 5 seconds. You better get out of here with that prayer request. But man, like you just gotta think about it like that. Think about how many people in the world and how many people be praying.
Yeah, all at
And
once,
even
bro.
and then people be praying like you seen them in the movies where they be praying and then they be mocking God and stuff like that, right?
What you mean?
Like, you know how like it was a Spider-Man movie or something like that. This is a side conversation. but it was a Spider-Man movie where he was in church praying that somebody dies, bruh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was praying that Peter Parker would die or whatever. And then it was crazy, like, and people just play around with prayer so much, but that's another conversation for another day, people playing around with
Yeah,
prayer.
for real, man.
But
Just
back onto
or
this, to
praying
this
in
conversation.
vain and all that stuff, bro.
Exactly, but back to that, like God can still hear y'all in every prayer. Like, don't get me twisted. God hears all your prayers. That's why He's not a mortal man like we are. Darren made a song called "I'm Just a Mortal Man." I'm just a mortal man.
You remember
Lord, help
that?
me if you can. I'm just a mortal man. I remember all the words. He's like, "Yeah, I got the Holy Ghost, but I don't really know if I'm going to see heaven." And he's talking about all this type of stuff. And it's
uh,
just talking about
See,
being a
that's that
mortal
pain
man.
right there, bro. For real. That we was
Yeah,
talking about.
and I related to that song so much because, um. In life, on your job, in your family, people got so many expectations, but we got to realize that we're just mortal. We're not super people. We're not spirit. His spirit is within us, but we're
Uh-huh.
not spirits yet. We're still bound to the flesh, and it's but so much we can do as mortal men, as mortal women. You can't expect us to carry the whole world on our shoulders. So just know if you're depressed, down, or whatever, you can still make it because you're just a human. So.
Yeah, man, and just know you're not alone, seriously, because there's somebody out there. Man, you got people like strangers that'll. And another cool thing, man, if you're feeling depressed and lonely, right? You know what you can do? And I just thought of this. Go to like a hospital, bro, and just volunteer or something every weekend.
Oh
And then
yeah,
you'll really start to open up your eyes like, dang, man, like, Lord, it really is good to me. You know what I mean?
exactly. Go work at a nursing home. Go work at you know, go volunteer even at a funeral home or something
Oh,
like that.
nah, I'm good
You
on that,
realize
dog.
I'm telling you, man, but it's so much stuff
Oh,
like
nah.
you don't realize, man. I'm not saying that that might not be for everybody, or I wouldn't do that either, but still, if you somebody and you really like you feel like you hit rock bottom. Go work at a hospital, go do something like that. Go volunteer at nursing home or funeral home or somewhere that's like a facility for people that's disabled or whatever.
Yeah.
People, people, it's not just you going through stuff. We're all going through stuff. People might be going through some type of sickness. Some people might be going through depression. Some people might be going through some type of financial thing, bullying, whatever, inferiority, vulnerability, abuse, the whole 9 yards. Somebody's going through something, and it's not our job to look at what they're going through, but it's our job to be there with them and pray for them. So
And
yeah.
not only that, too, but when you volunteer at these places, on a brighter side, a lot of those patients and everything might turn out to be like really good people to the point where you like, okay, I can go hang out with Jim or
Hmm.
Bobby or whoever at the hospital or at the nursing home, like go play,
Yeah,
I don't know, go play games with them or something on the weekend, and you might really lose that lonely feeling. And you might say, okay,
yeah,
Bob, he's my friend now, I can
yeah,
call on him or whatever.
and it feels rewarding after because you're doing it for a
Yeah.
good cause too. So yeah, it's stuff out there for y'all, but ultimately y'all need to get to the church. Y'all need to get to somewhere that's going to be helping you spiritually, helping what's going to last forever.
Hmm.
And as I know this is a men's episode, we need to see more brothers in church. We need to see more brothers trying to do something for Christ and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the episode for today. Darren, you want to add anything before we get out of here?
No, that was good for real. That was real
Yeah,
good.
we needed this episode. We got another episode coming for y'all in the coming weeks. Darren, he's about to be out of town for a couple weeks. We're gonna miss him
Yeah,
greatly,
we're
but
gonna leave it at that
we
though. But
yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna be happy that y'all tuned in and stuff like that. Make sure y'all tune in. We got another episode coming. It's gonna be a women's episode talking about some things women go through. And then yeah, I think that's gonna be good. Make sure y'all share and all this type of stuff. So we're gonna still be here, your favorite podcast, every Tuesday at seven
Yeah.
o'clock, 7 p.m. every Tuesday. Make sure you like my page and you no like this page, the Impact Podcast YouTube page. You subscribe and that you follow us on on Instagram at Impact Podcast Show. Impact Podcast Show. That's our Instagram page. My personal Instagram page is One Christian Kennedy. One Christian Kennedy. Darren, you want to give yours?
Yeah, Instagram is Naraya.tv and YouTube is Naraya TV.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure you go follow him. He got some nice content out for y'all too. Just stay encouraged, y'all. Make sure that as we're into Black History Month, that you stay aware of what's going on, especially as African American men too. But we're here for everybody, the whole community. We love you all. Everybody needs to be strong-minded. Everybody needs to be aware of what's going on. And as brothers, we need to unite and support each other more. And we need to impact the future ultimately by pointing to the cross. Thank y'all. See you, Darren. We're gonna get out of here.
All right.